when it comes to getting back with your ex, there are 5 steps, 5 different stages that everyone will go through. You might be in one of those stages, you are probably in one of those stages. In this video, I'm going to explain you what to do depending on which stage or which steps you are. It's basically an emotional journey. So your ex is going through an emotional journey, you are going through an emotional journey. I'm going to explain you how it works and what to do in that case, very detailed depending on where you are at the moment. Before I move on, you can subscribe to the channel and join all the new people in the community. It will also help me spread my content to a broader audience. Comment if you have any questions. If you don't like the video, if you like the video, you can comment. More than happy to answer all of your questions like that. And you can take the quiz to know if you have any chance to get back with your ex. It takes 2 minutes. It's an assessment, online assessment. The link is in the first comment of the video. So, first one is what I call the emotional wall. Your ex doesn't want to communicate, doesn't communicate much. So in that stage, they have sort of a hidden agenda. There, you have to acknowledge and understand that they made the decision to break up with you before they announced it to you. So it's something that went in their mind for quite a while, maybe weeks or months. And after they take the decision or announce it, they really want to enjoy that freedom. And so the thing is, when at this stage you want to communicate with them, they would basically don't show any interest. They would be mad or very impatient, or they won't answer you, or they would not text you, or they will be very frustrated. My tip on this one is radio silence. Because they are in the phase of the release phase. I mentioned that in another video. The release phase is between 2 and 12 days. At this stage, don't do anything. Let them experience that freedom. They want to be free. They want to be happy being single. It's going to last 2 to 12 days before they realize. Different things that we're going to cover afterwards, but use that time. Use that time, don't freak out, don't try to feel that I need to fix it right away, otherwise it's too late. You have up to 12 days for that release phase to end. Now it's from you have to understand that the communication will come from superficial to emotional. So the superficial one is when you talk about the weather, or when you're with your mates and talk about football, or when you're with colleagues, you talk about football or whatever. You wouldn't say like to your colleagues, yeah, I feel like, my mother did this to my father and now I have a trauma, or all these kind of things. Like, it would be too emotional. When you're in a couple, when you're in a relationship, you're most of the time talking about a deeper emotional level, not superficial most of the time. So the thing is, you'll see that the little bit they're gonna provide very superficial, very short answer, and it's gonna feel weird for you because you had a habit of talking about deep stuff with your ex, and now they just talk to you about the weather, about what they had for dinner, things like that. That's completely normal. They're gonna use that very superficial way of communication because they want to be protected. They want to test the water. They don't want to be too exposed in a way. And so again, you have 2 modes of communication, on the surface and the deeper in the emotion. My advice is to really reassure them, because at this stage they're just on and off, they're trying a little bit, they want to be reassured. So tell them, show them there's no fear to have, no complicated question. Keep it simple, keep it easy, and no hate. Because I know in a lot of cases, people are still a bit mad and feel angry about their ex making that decision. At this stage, no place for hate if you want to get back with your ex. The third one, hot and cold, and I have had probably 80% of my calls that week on people in that stage. It's the most frustrating stage ever. However, it's quite simple what to do. The thing is, we enter this phase a bit too early usually. It must be considered after the radio silence. So don't feel that it's hot and cold if you did the radio silence of 3 hours or 3 days, right? it needs to be after at least 21 or 30 days of radio silence, at least. And so what you're gonna perceive is like a lot of, hot and cold, like, yeah, I'm really, really excited to see you. And then the next text is like, it feels like a cold shower. It's like really, really, really cold message, like, okay, got you, thank you. And they will alternate this. And the reason they do that is because they dig into their emotions. They don't exactly know at this point of time how they feel really. And so what they're doing is using that hot and cold because they are sometimes surprising themselves of being too hot, and sometimes they're surprising themselves of being too cold. And that's why they alternate between hot and cold. And it's so frustrating. And I know you might be in that situation where you feel your ex is like giving you mixed signals and you don't know exactly what to do about that. It's just because they are confused, and it makes you confused as well. So the key actions here is really to keep cool and remember that they're doing this because they are confused. Don't get frustrated or angry. They are just experiencing their emotions. It's gonna be, sometimes it's a bit long, sometimes it's not, but this is why they behave like this. It's not to make you suffer, it's just because they're just not sure about how they feel. Luckily, there's phase number 4, the money time. In basketball, money time is just the few last seconds of the game where the one team who scores would make the point. Could be also the critical point. This one is when the confusion disappears and your ex start to ask questions like, how would I feel if I saw my ex? Would it be interesting? How would I feel? And it becomes not just intellectual. They have that craving of seeing you physically, and they have real feelings at this stage. But the thing, and that's where it's a bit tricky, is that what would be the consequence? I decided to break up with Brad or whoever. Now, if I get back with him, what would be the consequence? So first, they're gonna have to tell their family, their friends that actually they've changed their mind. They have that fear because now it becomes real. And the thing is, out of fear, they may discourage you. They may tell you, you deserve better than me, you and I didn't work then, all these kind of things, because they don't want to hurt you and they don't want to be doing something, getting back to what they decided and actually make another mistake. So what you have to do is to ensure that you are the only option. Show that you're serious about the process and that you've changed for good. It is so important. So when this money time, when they start to think about like, okay, let's see my ex, maybe it can work. You need to replace that maybe with it will work. If they don't have that, if they don't understand that, the money time is not gonna work. So at this stage, because after the hot and cold, they'll start to be more interested and want to see you. That's critical. They have to see you. And when they see you, not necessarily the first date, but the first few dates, they need to understand actually this is the best option, is to get back together. And the pain of telling the other that they changed would be less than the pain of losing you. And the fifth one is the new beginning. The new beginning, you have discussed about it, about yourselves, about the other person, about both of you. The idea is you understood the mistakes, both of you, and you're ready to move on. You commit to correcting everything. And my suggestion, the key action is really use that strong foundation in that during that radio silence. I have some clients who actually are still together and they did they did on purpose a radio silence, or they're just like, I'm gonna live in, so one of my friends, she went to Mexico and she went to Mexico for a month, not because their couple was in crisis, but they wanted to have that space. And they exchange email on almost a daily basis. And now they're able to work on things on their own. And I'm pretty sure that when they get back together in the same city, they'll be stronger because they have managed and worked on themselves, correcting the different things that didn't work in a couple, and recreate a stronger couple. And it's really important, the co-creation part. It's not only, I have a lot of clients that's like, yeah, this is her fault, this is because she said that, because she's like that. No. It's a two-way thing. It's gonna be yourself, it's gonna be themselves. It's so important. If you don't know exactly how to work on yourself, if you don't know exactly how to correct yourself, buy books of self-development, have a chat with myself or a therapist or a counselor to really make sure that you maximize all your chance to get back with your ex, because at the end of the day, when they have to make the decision, because they'll make the decision whether to get back with you or not, you have to be the best option for them. So the key takeaways: use the correct actions. Depending on which stage you are, you can go back to the video if you want. Always remember your ex's psychology. You know, when you are in this hot and cold phase, remember that psychology is not against you. It's just they think like that. And last but not least, invest in yourself to be sure to create a strong couple. Again, there's a link if you want to have a chat. More than happy. Sometimes just when I provide just one tip or a suggestion, it really fixes everything. So yeah, take care of yourself. See you next time.